I'm not doing this live because I'm not sure I'm actually gonna post it, but we'll see. Today's Logan's birthday, and I just came into his room for the first time ever. Well, not ever, but since his death a year ago. And because it's his birthday and because of the importance of this week, because on Saturday it'll be a year since he took his life, there's just a lot of events and memories and thoughts that are replaying in my mind over and over again. And probably the one that's heaviest is just something that I felt like I needed to share because it's given me some comfort. Being a parent is so hard, and I know you guys know that. This isn't just for parents, it's for everyone that has a relationship with anyone, which is everyone. But sometime when Logan was around a junior in high school, he sort of lost who he was. And well, it was a little bit later than this. It was actually more when he was like 20. But he did start to develop his depression and withdraw from the family when he was about 17 or 18. But when he was after his first semester of college, when he came home and we entered some counseling, he just could not say that he loved me, and he could not really, I guess that's the main thing. We would talk and all, but when I was leaving or going to work or going to bed or whatever, and I'd say, I love you, Logan, he wouldn't respond. And we did some counseling that spring semester as a part of a deal when he moved back home. And I think he, was convinced that he was doing it for me, which was partly true. I just needed to know how to communicate with him and all. But, through that counseling, one of the biggest things that came from that was that his counselor, and she said to him as well, but mostly in a session privately with me, was that Logan doesn't understand unconditional love right now. He just doesn't understand love, what it means. And no matter how hard it is and how frustrated you are with him, her advice to me was, you've got to just keep telling him that you love him, even when you're mad at him, even when you know you're not going to get it back. And it was the best advice that I've gotten. I'm sorry, I had a visitor show up. And obviously I've calmed down a little bit, but I wanted to just finish. And so that advice from that counselor was really the best parenting advice I've ever gotten, because as we all know, our 3-year-olds can be very trying at times, and our 18-year-olds or 16-year-olds or even 13-year-olds that are talking back or doing whatever can drive us nuts. And do we always love them? Of course we always love them. But to say those words, especially when you are frustrated or you are angry, means so much more. And so for me, I continued to tell Logan that I loved him. And, we wouldn't fight, and he wouldn't ever say awful things to me. He would just be gonna go about his day and be leaving. And I would say, I love you, Logan. And he would just look at me and I wouldn't hear it back. And I can't even tell you how hard that was. Hurtful. It would have been easier to just not say it, because then I wouldn't have to not hear it back. But as I continued to say it, I don't remember exactly how many months later it was, and it might have even been like a year later. At some point, he had a new understanding of what love was, and I believe he met a girl that, it sounds kind of movie and cliches, but I think she kind of, showed him that, and he was able to open up and figure it all out again. But one day when I said, have a good day, I love you, he actually said it back to me. And I just knew at that time, like, wow, she was right. I needed to show him what unconditional love was. It didn't matter if he was doing everything great or if we had a great relationship or whatever was going on. He knew that I loved him. And so I will tell you that on his birthday 1 year ago, I struggled with wanting to say happy birthday to him and telling him that I loved him. Because if you read my post the other day, I was really angry at him for not wishing me a happy birthday. And the other thing is we had found out that he had quit his job and he hadn't told any of us. And I was confused and frustrated and was scared too, but mostly he was just acting like nothing was wrong. And so I was just like, I wonder, in my mind I kept thinking, maybe I just won't say happy birthday and almost like pretend like we forgot. And I wonder what he would think. But then I part of me knew, like I had asked him questions like that before, like, Logan, what if we did this to you or whatever? And he would say, it's no big deal. And, I don't know how much that was true, because now that I know how much he was hurting and numb to emotions and feelings, like maybe it really wouldn't have mattered to him. I don't know, but so I struggled. I kept just thinking, well, I'll at least let him maybe bring it up or, and when he walked upstairs that morning, my motherly instincts took over and I remembered what that counselor said. And I'm like, I have to do this no matter how hard it is. And I walked over to him and I gave him a hug and I said, happy birthday, Logan. I love you. And sitting here today, thinking back, it gives me so much peace that I did that, because it was only a few days later that he took his life. And I'm not saying because of that day that he wrote this in the letter, but I think because of all the times he knew how much we loved him. He wrote in our letter, especially to me, he said, I know that you cared. And he wrote that I love you all. And, obviously that was huge for us after what we had kind of been through with him. But can you imagine if I had not wished him a happy birthday, or had avoided it, or had somehow made it a different moment, how guilty I would feel now? And I mean, of course I feel guilt for other things, but I have so much peace that I did that anyway. And so this is just my plea to you guys to remember that in a moment when your son or you're in a big fight with someone that you really love, to just not be afraid to say it. It doesn't mean you make up. It doesn't even mean that you agree with what they're doing, but just let them know how much you love them. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you for all your support, reaching out to me and giving me hugs, and love you all.